Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So today we're going to be multiplying polynomial expressions. Yesterday was a monomial, so one term times a poly, so many different terms. Today we're going to get a little bit more specific. So again, a binomial by a binomial, that's what I want to multiply today. So here's going to be the drill, guys. You guys are going to take notes. Again, watch the video, take notes. Make sure you guys follow the instructions. At the end of the video, you guys will be turning in both your notes that you took and also the class activity. So maybe you save one side of your page for all notes and then flip it over on the back, and that's where you guys are going to do your class activity. Okay, so I will be again collecting both your notes and your class activity. All right, so let's jump right into it. Make sure you guys copy down the title, Multiplying Polynomial Expressions. All right. Now, again, our goal by tomorrow. All right, so again, this is going to be our goal by tomorrow. I'm going to learn how to multiply a binomial, something like 2x minus 3. Those are two terms. By another binomial, something like 5x plus 1. I'm going to show you guys two different ways, all right? Some students like this method on the left, which is double distribution, kind of like what we did yesterday, multiply. And then some students like this little Punnett square, all right? So again, I'll show you both ways. Both ways work, and it's just honestly up to preference. Okay, so recall, what were we doing yesterday? How do you multiply a monomial, well, one term, times a polynomial, okay? So many terms. In this case, it's a trinomial, all right? Well, we took that outside number, right, and we multiplied, or whatever value that was, negative 4x, and we multiplied it times the first term. So in this case, what's negative 4 times 3? That gave us negative 12. Now be careful, what is x times x to the second power? That's going to give us x to the third power. We add the exponents, there's 2 and there's a 1 there. So that gives us negative 12x to the third. And then we moved on to the next one. We multiplied, hey, let's do it again. Negative 4 times negative 5x. Well, what's a negative 4 times a negative 5? That's positive 20. Now be careful, it's x times x. There's a 1, so it's x to the second power. And again, let's go ahead and multiply the last piece here. Negative 4 times the last term. Well, what's negative 4x times negative 2? Well, negative 4 times a negative 2 is a positive 8. And again, is there another x you can kind of combine it with? No, so again, we can't leave it out. We have to bring it down. It was negative 4x times negative 2, which gives us positive 8x. And that's pretty much it, because I can't combine any of these guys because they're different terms. This is x to the first, x to the second, x to the third. Those are all three different types of terms, so they are not alike. And that was pretty much it. Okay, so again, that was a monomial times a polynomial. Okay, the question is, how do we multiply a binomial by a binomial? Something that has two terms and something, again, that has two terms. Well, let me show you guys. And again, I'll show you both methods here. The first one we call double distribution. Distribution, we know how that works. We kind of just did it, right, when we multiply the outside value. Double just means you're going to do it twice, okay? And then you have your good old Punnett square over here. Some of you guys might remember this from biology. All right, so how does it work? How does it work? How does it work? Well, notice it's the same problem, so we'll do this one together, and we should get the same answer. So we're going to multiply. Imagine this. So again, it's a binomial, but imagine that this positive 5 was never there. If you had that 2x sitting out front, let's go ahead and distribute for the first time here. 2x times 3x. That's going to give us 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x to the second power. And then again, I'm going to multiply the 2x times the 2. Well, what's 2 times 2? That's positive 4. And then don't forget the x. There was no other x, but we still have to make sure we bring it down. Okay, that was the first distribution. Now, why is it called double? Because I'm going to have to do the same thing, but now with the 5. I'm going to distribute. What's 5 times the 3x here? Positive 5 times the 3x. That's positive 15, and then x. 5 times 3 was 15. Don't forget about the x. There was no other x's, so it's not x squared, x to the third, anything like that. Just x. And then let's distribute again. What's 5 times just a positive 2? Well, that's just positive 10. But now when you're doing binomial by binomial, you always have to ask yourself, is there something I can combine? And there actually is. These two like terms in the middle, those are both x's. I can't combine an x with x to the second. That's completely different. But 4x and 15x, if I combine those, that gives me positive 19x. What about the 10? Just bring it down. There's no other like terms. And the 6x squared, no other x squares, so we just bring it down. No other like terms. That is going to be our final answer. That's how we multiply a binomial by a binomial using double distribution. Okay. How does it work when I'm doing the Punnett square? Well, you're going to take the Punnett square, right? Your 4 by 4, or sorry, 2 by 2 here, And you're going to write the first one up top here. Let's write 2x. Whoa, what happened? Let's go back. All right, we're going to write the first one, 2x. So our first term goes up here. Our second term, it's a positive 5, so I put it in the second column. And the 3x and the plus 2 are going to go over here on the side. 3x, and it's a positive 2. Make sure you guys hold on to those signs. Okay, now guess what we're going to do for each one of these boxes in the inside? I'm going to go through and multiply. All right, that's how we get the stuff inside here. 3 times 2 is 6. You have an x and an x. When you multiply those, you get x to the second power. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What's 5 and a 3x? When I multiply those, well, 5 times 3 is 15. There was only one x, so it just stays as 15x. Same thing down below here. 2 times 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. There's no other x. It's just going to be 4x. Okay, and then what about the last final piece here? What's 5 times 2? That's positive 10. Now, all of these 4 boxes in here, it's pretty much what we had here, just kind of organized in nice little boxes, which is kind of neat. Okay. Now, I do want to write my answer in standard form. Notice it's still going from x to the second to x to just your constant. So which of these should I write first? 6x to the second. And as I'm writing it in standard form, when I go on to the next ones, can't I combine these guys? 15x's and 4x's, that's going to give me positive 19x, and then the plus 10 at the very end. Do I get the same answer? Absolutely. So again, it's completely up to you which way you like. Now, some students like the double distribution. Some prefer the Punnett square. And later on, we're actually going to use the Punnett square a little bit more because we're going to do this process in reverse. So again, it's nice to practice with the Punnett square. It does make life a little bit easier, keeps you organized. And it does help out later when we're going backwards, what we call factoring. Okay. What I want you guys to do is pause the video, try this problem. When you're ready, hit play and I'll show you guys the answer. All right, so here we go. So I already did the double distribution. Again, you can see what I multiplied, 3x times x. 3x times 5 is in red. And then I did negative 2 times x and negative 2 times 5, and that's in green. And of course, I wanted to combine. If I can clean anything up, I don't want to leave it just like that, a long polynomial. If I can combine any like terms, let's go for it. 15x minus 2x gave us 13x. Okay. Now, I was in the process over here, right? I broke it apart, my binomial on top, my binomial on the side. 3x times x is 3x to the second. Okay, negative 2 times x, just combine those, you multiply them, and you get negative 2x. 3 times 5 is 15. There was only one x, so it's 15x. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Now again, I want to write this in standard form, so let's start off with 3x to the second power. So 3x to the second power. Okay, next I move on to things that have x's, right? I went from x squared to just x's. I can actually combine those. What are 15x's minus 2x's? That gives you positive 13x. And then lastly, your constant, negative 10, and that's 10. And that is it. We get the same answer regardless. Okay, so same deal, guys. What I want you guys to do is pick one of these two. Pause the video one more time and test yourself. See if you're actually getting the hang of it. Now again, you can do whatever way you want, Punnett square or double distributions, up to you. Whenever you're ready, hit play and I'll run through it. All right, so let's see. I'll do the first one here using Punnett square, and then for the second one, I'll use double distribution. So let me set up my Punnett square. All right, there it is. And again, it doesn't take very long, which is a good thing, right? I put x and a positive 2, and then on the side here, I put x and a minus 4. Now let me fill in everything that I know in here. Well, what's x times x? That's just x to the second power. You could put a 1 if you wanted to, right? What is 2 times x? That's just positive 2x. What is x times negative 4? That's a negative 4x. And then what's 2 times the negative 4? That's negative 8. Okay, now let's put all of this together in standard form. X squares come first, so I'm going to put x squared or 1x squared. Again, it looks a little tacky if we put the 1, but I'm still going to do it anyways. I can actually combine these guys. Both of these are x's. Come next. Negative 4 and a positive 2 gives us negative 2x. And then lastly, the minus 8. And there we have it. That should have been your final answer for multiplying x plus 2 times x minus 4. Now notice, guys, these problems don't have a plus or a minus in the middle. So these are multiplication problems. Please don't put a 1 outside. I know we got used to the habit, but this is a multiplication, not an addition or a subtraction problem. All right, let's try the next one over here. Use a different color. I'm gonna use double distribution for this one, so you guys can, see both methods. What's 3x times the negative 2? Well, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, but what's the x times the x? That's x to the second power. Okay, move on to the next one. What is negative 3 times 5, positive 5? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. It's not just a 15. 3x times 5 is 15x. I got to carry that x over. Okay, let's move on with negative 4 times negative 2x. Well, negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. There's no x's. I still have to drag that x that I had up there. Okay. And lastly, negative 4 times 5. Well, that's negative 20. Okay, and again, I have that very large polynomial. I do want to, again, clean it up. Whatever I can kind of combine, I want to go for it. Any x squares, nothing. So we drop that down. Negative 6x squared. Any x's, I got a 15x and I got an 8x, which is going to give me 23x. And of course, our constant, there's no other constant, so we leave it as negative 20. All right, guys, there you have it. And again, you'll start getting more problems that look like they'll be on later on tomorrow. Okay. All right. So take a second, guys. Take a shot at it. If you think you got the beyond, go for it. That one does look a little tricky. Careful with your exponents. All right. And when you're ready, hit play. All right. So the first one here, guys, this time I'll switch it around. I'll use double distribution for number 1, and then I'll use the Punnett square for the second one. So x times 3x. Well, there's a 1 here. 1 times 3 is 3. X times x is x to the second. 1x times 8, that's just 8x's. What is 4 times 3x? That is positive 12x. What's 4 times 8? That is positive 32. Okay, let's start cleaning things up. X squares, any other x squares? Nothing. 3x squared. X's. Yes, there is. There's 2 in the middle. 8x plus 12x gives us 20x. And then the last one, just plus 32. That's our constant. Okay. All right. There we have it. There's number 1. Or standard, excuse me. All right. Beyond standard, let me set up my Punnett square. All right. There we go. Nothing too fancy. All right. 3x to the third goes up top. Minus 4x squared. Okay, negative 2x squared goes on the left, and then positive 5x on the bottom down there. Okay, let's fill in everything we know. 3 times negative 2, that's negative 6. Now you have x to the second and x to the third. That means I have x to the, I add those exponents, I get x to the fifth. Okay, next one, negative 4 times negative 2, that's positive 8. But I have x squared and x squared, which gives me x to the fourth. Okay. 5 times 3 is positive 15. I had x to the third here and x to the first, which gives me x to the fourth. I can already see these guys are going to combine. And then the last one here, negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. X to the first and x to the second is x to the third. Okay, let's write our final answer here in standard form. Again, it's important that we write it in standard form. Biggest degree I see is x to the fifth. And there's no other one, so again, that guy's just going to drop down. X to the fourth, these guys here, all right, should combine. 15 and 8 gives us positive 23. They're both positive. And again, it stays as x to the fourth. When you're combining like terms, again, you don't add the exponents, you simply combine its coefficients. And then the last one here, negative 20 x to the third, there's no other x to the third, so we leave it as is. That's our final answer. All right, guys. So again, that was the goal. We'll do a little bit more practice tomorrow, but I do want you guys practicing today. Now, you guys are responsible for these 6 problems. All right, you're multiplying binomials by binomials. Okay, when you are done, my sub has the answer key. Go check with him or her. All right, if everything's perfect, please turn that into the inbox. And again, I will be collecting your notes and your class activities. So make sure if you did it on 2 separate papers, staple those. Make sure your name's on it. Make sure you date it and put that in the inbox again. And that, guys, have a nice day. I will see you guys soon.